Steve here with Table Rock Tea Company. Many of you have asked for a video tour of our new tea factory. This is a micro factory that we built, and now that all of the equipment is here and running, we'll take you on a small guided tour. First along the way is the withering table. This is the first stage after we pick the tea. We let it wither on this big bed. It's essentially like an air hockey table. It has perforations on the surface and then a channel underneath that allows the air to flow through. Most of these have a fan hooked to them, but we really didn't need the fan here. So after the tea withers for about 18 to 20 hours, we then decide whether or not to turn it into black tea, green tea, or oolong tea. For black tea, we use this machine here. This is called a rotor vane. It's actually one of the few that are probably in the United States. It's kind of a monster. We had to do a lot of retrofitting, swapping motors, that kind of stuff. But essentially it's a worm drive that cuts, tears, and curls the leaf as it goes through, and it makes it blacker. It squeezes it together, makes it more juicy, and more reactions that take place. This is the inside of it right here. And you can see this worm drive going along and all the things that it does to the leaf before it exits the tube. So I won't turn this on actually because it's pretty loud. But anyway, the tea comes out there. If we want to make a whole leaf oolong tea, we use this rolling machine. Basically what the roller does, it works like this. You crank the handle up, you put tea in this bucket. The tea goes in there, and then the lid compresses it down onto the rolling bed, which has these veins on it that simulates this motion with your hand. So I'll show you real quick. So once it's finished, there's a drop down tray right here. Hit the lever, put a bucket underneath, and your tea drops out the middle. So that is a tea rolling machine. So next stop is this roasting cauldron. We do a specially roasted tea, and that's just what it is. It just roasts it there. Over here we have a tea drying machine. Once we've achieved the right oxidation levels, you want to stop that oxidation by drying it at a certain temperature. We retrofitted this with an electric forced air heater, and it's kind of a clever mechanism. It's really, I guess the best way to describe it is a manual conveyor belt. It's got a series of perforated layers here that are controlled by levers. They move like this. So you'd spread your tea out on the one lever, or layer rather, drop it, put the next one, then you drop the one below, drop the one down, and on and on and on it goes until it drops out the bottom into a collection hopper there. It's kind of neat. Like I said, it's really a manual conveyor belt. And over here we have a sifting machine. This is called a circular or an orbital sifter. We don't really like it. There's actually a linear sifter that's a little bit better. But basically it's got a series of screens. We dump the tea in there, it shakes, and it comes out the different buckets depending on the grade that you want to do. So that's that part. This big machine over here is one of the only pieces that we were able to buy in the US. This actually came out of a pilot plant for Green Giant, and it's just a big mixer. It's a tumble mixer because you want the tea to tumble instead of having paddles that go around on the inside that can crush it. So this is basically the tumble mixer. You can speed it up or slow it down to various. Over here we have a sugar mill, a sugar grinder, which is what we use to make our Jack Black Original that has brown sugar with it, but then we have to de-lump it. It's actually called a de-lumping machine. And it's kind of cool. You throw the sugar in here, and it runs through this series of blades down and through a screen, and then dumps out into a bucket down below. Drops down right here. And last few steps, we've got a grinder. This is just like a regular industrial coffee grinder. It lets us chop the leaves into smaller particles for bags and that kind of stuff. And then finally, an actual tea bag machine. This is pretty cool. complicated piece of machinery that we have here.
This is the bagging machine. You can see the tea gets filled into this hopper here. It rolls down in here. There are these little holes that fill up with tea. Underneath the mechanism, that drops a certain quantity into the bag. It comes in here, fills it up, and then it goes through a series of heat sealers. One is vertical, one is horizontal. And it rolls down through the rollers and gets cut and rolls out as a finished tea bag. Pretty cool machine.
So that's a brief tour of the factory. Thanks again for watching, and stay tuned to see what else is brewing here at Table Rock Tea Company.